Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of the Inner Health Project. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, Hanna Goette. Hello, Hanna.
Hello, Chris.
It's another one. This is episode 10, by the way.
I know, it's 10.
The big 10. And actually, that's great. We made it to double digits. And in the spirit of double digits, we are talking about how to not be so busy. Like, how do we stop being so busy? Because, that's something that I hear all the time. And it sounds like you do too.
Yeah. I hear that excuse all the time. I'm just too busy. I got too much going on.
It's crazy.
I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that excuse. Let's just get rid of it.
Let's just stop that. Let's come up with another one, right? I'm too energetic. Let's try that one on. I'm too awesome. I'm too
awesome. Popular.
Nice. Yeah. Right. There you go. That's way more constructive. But so what are some of the symptoms that you see with, busyness, like in people's lives?
Well, I think they get stuck in a routine and they just keep, they're stuck in that routine. So they don't notice, they're not present. They don't notice what's going on around them. And even just the little things, like when you're, say you're ordering food from a restaurant and, maybe you just got a one-track mind, you just got to get this order in, but are you really connecting with that other person, your server? Are you noticing them, or are you just kind of stuck in this routine of got to eat or got to get to work, and I'm not noticing the drive into work at all. Right. I think people feel, I know for me, I felt isolated from people, just being stuck in a routine and just not feeling connected. And I think that's a huge problem in our society is feeling isolated and stuck and not connected to other human beings. Now we have so much technology, but are we really using it the way we should be using it?
It's almost like busy. It's funny because you say that and it makes me think of busyness as like this, just this backstory to like we use it for everything. It's this interchangeable backstory to everything. When if we were to change the story, we could get more specific about what's really going on. It's not that I'm too busy. It's that I'm lonely. It's not that I'm too busy. It's that I'm bored. It's not too, right? Like we can just keep getting more accurate about what's really going on so we could actually change that.
Right. And we'll make time for the things that we really care about, that we really want to explore in our lives. Right. So saying you're too busy is, for me, I just think, okay, that's something you don't want to pursue. Right. So, but why are you using that? Or why are you feel stuck? And why are we so, I feel like we're doing so many things to keep us moving, but we're not going forward. We're just spinning a wheel.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, big time. Yeah, I think there's a huge implication for our busyness. I do think that people are sort of checking out of life a lot of times, and I don't think that it has to be. I don't know anybody that is too busy that doesn't want to be less busy. I think everybody that says I'm too busy wants relief from that condition, that story.
Right.
So how do we start to, what are some places we can actually start to change that experience of life from being too busy to not being too busy?
Well, change your attitude, change what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like we said, like, let's stop using that as an excuse. Let's stop saying those words. And
it's good.
Yeah. Let's just stop. Change your attitude. You don't have to change your routine. It doesn't take a whole lot of time.
Right.
If you're at work and you're talking to somebody, a coworker, instead of just talking about, I don't know, the work you got to get done, you could take a few extra seconds and get to know them a little bit deeper.
Right.
Just ask them a few more questions. Just connect to them on a different level.
Yeah. You've heard that saying about like our thoughts lead to our feelings, lead to our actions. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Like, you say like change your attitude. Like if you want to change your routine, which is if you don't want to change the external actions of being busy, then that starts like in your mind. So I love that you're saying like change your attitude first, because it starts in your head, starts in your mind. Change that. And then change your routine. Like instead of just going through the motions, actually connect with people. Like that's an action. Yeah, I like that.
Right. For me, like saying that I'm too busy was a way for me to isolate myself from other people. I didn't know that at the time that that's what I was doing. And then in my head, I kept thinking, well, nobody wants to, everyone's just too busy. They don't want to connect. Yeah. No one cares. Like we're just all just isolated people bumping into each other, but we're not connecting. Right. And once I started to change the way I saw people, I was able to open up a space or invite them to be more vulnerable with me, by opening up myself first. I think it doesn't take a whole lot. I feel like people are starving for a connection, and really you could send somebody a note card in the mail saying how grateful you are for them, and that would that would make their day, and that would disrupt their routine, and then that would make them think a little differently, I think.
Yeah, I like that. I like this thought of busyness. I like the thought of busyness, but this thought of like there is an alternative to busyness, and that busyness sometimes is an escape maybe, or a crutch, or a muse, or like
an addiction, I think.
Yeah. And it kind of goes unchecked. I think it goes unchecked. Like, and nobody really calls you on it. Like, hey, you should stop saying you're so busy. We're doing that right now. But, in passing with people, you're like, hey, how's things? You're like, I'm just so busy. You're like, well, really, are you? You should change your attitude. You should change your attitude about that and get back to me. It's harder. It's not as socially appropriate to do it one-on-one. I love that we're doing it in this podcast, because I think sometimes from this format, it's easier to receive on the receiving end of it. Be like, yeah, I have been saying that a lot lately, and I probably should change like that story.
We want to give you a different perspective, Let's change the conversation, and let's have a conversation in person. Right. Let's connect on that way.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It seems like it would be worth investigating. Like it sounds like you had a specific. Well, when you said like I was using "I'm so busy" and I was using it to keep people away, that's what you said. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Like for each of us, there are certain reasons why we use that story, and it would be interesting in the space of inner healing or inner health, right, to look at why you, the listener, why you use that story. Like, is it because of responsibility and it just feels like a weight? Is it because you're afraid to be vulnerable? Is it like, it'd be really interesting to just go spend some time alone and reflect on why that is the story. What is that story hiding?
Right.
Or protecting you from? I mean, it's a protective story. It's like trying to protect myself.
Yeah. And it's like socially acceptable to be incredibly busy because that means you're successful or
something.
I don't know. It's just, that's just normal.
Right.
But why? Why is it normal to be so busy that you can't connect with other people and then feel isolated?
Right.
So.
Much more acceptable to be busy than it is to be lonely, or to be busy than it is to be unconfident, or like whatever. But anyway, I also like the thought that it is like the story is there to protect us. Like we do use it for protection, but it's not even what we want. Like none of us want to be so busy. That's the weird part, right?
Right. But it's like we do things to manifest. We have to prove to ourselves, okay, we're thinking a certain way. So we have to manifest that in our life to make it true. Yeah. So we're believing some sort of lie. Yeah. And we're using this story as I'm too busy to create in our lives and manifest that in our lives. And that's not really the truth of it.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. It was probably in the last year, just stumbling into the conversation of telling the truth. Like there's a lot of places that I think we lie to ourselves, partially out of protecting ourselves and partially out of like, it takes a lot to get very vulnerable with yourself about like, look, I wanted to be here and I'm not there. And this is how I feel about it. And it doesn't feel good all the time to go down that road, but to cover it up and to not really address it doesn't help you either. And I was afraid to like get real about it because I didn't want to say, I didn't want to have negative thoughts about it and have those negative thoughts be something that I manifest. Like, right? Like, it's scary to go down in the shadows and start looking at what's really going on. It's just easier to say, I'm too busy.
Right. It is scary to face your own demons. I
Yeah.
won't lie about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't move forward. You can't be the best person you possibly can be without, you can't heal without seeing the darkness.
Yeah, that's good. Oof. Yep. Yeah, that's where healing is. Like, healing is, you got to go into where the sickness is, or where the hurt part is, to have the healing part. Yep. That's the yin and yang of it.
Yeah.
For
you
sure.
have to feel it. You have to connect with it. You have to process it. And it doesn't happen overnight. And, you know, personal experiences, I think that I was done with one part of healing, and then you just kind of peel back another layer, and you process that part of it.
Right.
Things show up in your life when they're supposed to, but you have to have the awareness and the courage to learn from it and go into that and really heal from it. Yeah,
big time. So we've talked. So in the spirit of changing that story, we've talked about change your attitude. We've talked about you could change your routine, like how you do things in your daily life can be different. We've talked a little bit about connecting with people. Any other things that can help us?
Well, kind of back to changing your routine is bringing more awareness to your routine or your life or what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not just being on autopilot and automatically doing things. Looking at nature with new eyes, trying to see the truth in things, and not your preconceived ideas or the lies that you might have been telling yourself. Trying to see things with new eyes, I think is a good suggestion.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Good. Any other things that come to mind for you about how do we stop being too busy?
How do we stop? I mean, I think we said most of what I wanted to say about that.
Okay, cool. You're so humble. Let me say this for everybody listening. Like, another way to do that is to get a massage. Like, Hannah's a massage therapist, and she's so generous. She's just going to give you a ton of stuff and not tell you, like, look, one of the ways to change the busyness thing is to start taking care of yourself. And one of the ways to take care of yourself is to get a massage. I think it's such a cool reset. In the rhythm or the pace of busyness, a massage is a great reset and gives you a chance to change your attitude, change your story, change your connections, change your routines.
Yes, you can get a massage, and it's a different way of connecting with yourself and bringing awareness into your life. Right. It doesn't always have to be about the muscles and the physical part of things. It allows you to decompress and kind of go into that meditative state if you allow it, and you can process things, and you can just let your body and all of your worries just kind of be for a little bit, be in like the suspended hour or so, and then process it afterwards. So.
Sometimes it's really hard sometimes on the treadmill of busyness or in the automatic autopilot way of living to change, because it's just like, it feels like a treadmill. Like, if I can't jump off the treadmill, it's moving too fast. And so I think massage is a really cool pattern interrupt for life. Like, it's a great way for an hour and a half to not just give you a reprieve for an hour and a half in your week, but actually, if you did it right, like, go back to episode 9, go back to our previous episode where we talked about how do you get the most out of your massage. If you go into it going, hey, I need a pattern interrupt, and I really want to set an intention for my life not being so busy and on autopilot, like, you could actually use that massage as a catalyst to, step into a new way that really works for you.
Yeah, it's going to disrupt your routine for sure, in a good way. It's going to bring you to a different state, and you'll be looking forward to it, and getting that part I'm putting that into your life and your health
Yeah.
plan
Mm.
is going to help you move forward. Even
Right.
though we're so busy, we feel like we're
Yep.
distracted all the time, or we've got all these things going and you don't have time
Yep.
to take time for yourself.
Yeah.
That's really just a lie that you're believing, because
Right.
you make time for the things that you value. And if you put aside an hour once a month,
Yep.
it can really change the way you view your life and the way you feel about yourself.
Yeah. So good. I love it. Do you have, I don't think I've ever asked you this. Do you have some kind of monthly programs, weekly programs, like for massage? How does that work for you? Like in your practice?
Usually I will set up like a tailored treatment plan for clients. So if we're working on like a really specific issue, like shoulder pain, I usually like to have clients come in every other week for the
Right.
first 3 months, just to see how things respond. And we can always adjust it up or down, however, but that's usually been a really good way of seeing progress with clients.
Right.
And then there's the clients that just want to do more of a relaxation, or they want to, they just need more of a maintenance type program. So every 3 to 4 weeks is a really good time frame for that for them.
Nice.
But it's always different. I mean, I always encourage clients to come in sooner or later, however they're feeling, because they know their bodies better than I do. So
nice. I like it. Good stuff, Hanna. Well, if people want to schedule a massage with you, or they want to connect with you, where can people go?
So you can go to innerhealthproject.com. There's no the Inner Health Project.
Know that. Yeah. Good.
You can see our episodes there. You can also book online from that. I also am on YouTube, innerhealthproject.com on YouTube. And then on Facebook, we have an Inner Health Project group page that you can ask me questions. You can continue this conversation if you like. And I'd love to hear feedback. If you have any other suggestions for episodes, you can contact me there as well.
Good stuff. Hanna, great episode. Thank you so much for facilitating this conversation in the world, because I think more people are seeking inner health in this day and age, and I love that we get to have that conversation. So thank you. Until next time, take care.
Thanks, Chris.